Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the motherfuckers all across the world, welcome to the You Wanna Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Space Motherfucking City, aka Man, originally known as the Ruler Shaboom. Now, if you don't mind me asking you, would you do me a favor, Al a favor, Mac a favor, and all the children across the world a favor, and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to, you got a problem with some of the conversations we have, feel free to fucking comment. We would love to hear your opinion. But with that being said, I'd like to introduce the people we have on the show today. We got Al. We got Mac. Gentlemen, how was y'all Valentine's Day yesterday? Did y'all do anything?
It was lit. I was on the slopes all day.
Yeah, I went to work.
Okay. That sounds good. So, I didn't do anything either. I actually sat home and read a book. It was a love novel. Because I'm a romantic type of guy, so I like reading things like that and looking at
Maxim.
things. What happened?
Maxim.
I don't even know what that is. But uh let's get into it. I got a question to ask y'all, right? Since we all here, right? Just indulge me for a second, right? If a man is 32 years old, do you think he should be dating a woman who's 21? Al, you go first.
Nah,
No.
Do you think it's just a mental thing where they not on the same, thinking wavelength, emotional? They haven't well, she hasn't experienced enough.
I feel like he's a predator. We can just call it as simple as that. If you got a 10-year gap and she's 21 and you 30, at one point in time, you're using the age gap as an advantage. And I don't think nobody could convince me personally differently.
Mac, what you think about a woman? You think a woman should be able to do that then?
I don't think I don't think either party should because I just think y'all at two different. Like if she 21 and he 32, when he 42, she gonna be 31. It's like y'all ain't gonna never be in the same place. Like to
All
me,
right,
mentally, just
all
where
right.
life take you.
I got another question for y'all then, right? Before we get into our topics, right? Should a woman be condemned for wanting a man who's financially stable? Is that equivalent to a man wanting a woman who is submissive or peaceful? Have we been looking at this woman wanting a man for money thing the wrong way? Mac, I'll start with you first.
I don't never think you should condemn a woman for wanting a man financially stable. I mean, I think that should be an automatic must. The same way if a man say he wants a submissive woman, you shouldn't condemn him for that. I think the problem become when you here for my money and not for me. That's a different level. Cause that's basically saying it don't matter. I don't matter in this equation at all. If any man had this type of money, then you with him.
Al, what you think about that?
Honestly, I don't think that financial stability um, would be equivalent to submissiveness. Like I do understand why you asked it like that. I would like whenever we start talking about money, I think of it as a transactional thing because I think that financial stability is a good. I guess I don't know if it's considered a trait, but it is a good thing for a guy to have. But he can have value outside of that. Um, but also, I think that submissiveness is a great trait for a woman to have. But I don't think that it's the end all be all. So for me, like I just think differently about that.
All right, so my personal opinion is, right, I think that just me personally, I feel like we have been looking at it a little too harsh because I don't think it's so much that the woman want the man to be financially stable. I think it's how the women come off from the rip when they be like, well, like some women ask you, to cash app them some money just so you can get to know them. Some women to say things like, well, you got to take me to an expensive restaurant to let me know that you're real serious and everything like that. Or some women just want to know like what you do for a career, what you do for a living. Which I think a long time ago, right? Before when fathers was giving their daughters away to the men and everything like that, it was about can you provide for them. It was about can you protect them. And I think that they felt better when they gave a woman away to a man who they knew was secure. I don't think there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting a man who's financially stable. I think where the problem come into play at a lot of times is, um, I think that we take it too literally. Like, I want a woman who's submissive. I want a woman who brings me peace. And if she wants a man in return to be like, well, you got to make sure that these bills are paid, or you got to make sure that we taking vacations and everything. I don't think that's the only thing, but I don't get angry or upset if that's one of her requirements. Anybody any rebuttal on that?
What I would say is, I think that what you pointed out was a little bit different than financial stability, right? Because when you start off a situation transactionally, right? When somebody's talking about send me some cash app or things like that, that's not going to tell me my financial status or tell somebody my financial status. Like, I could have money and not be financially stable, right? So that's part of the thing there. That's why I don't really like when people approach it like that, because what you're basically saying is you're counting my money, and that's not saying if I'm financially stable. And to me, the equivalent of that, which is what I was kind of alluding to earlier, is almost me like counting somebody's bodies, or how much would they really do, or what I mean, it's making a transaction. It's the start of a transaction. You getting to know me shouldn't have nothing to do with my money. The same way me getting to know you shouldn't have enough to do with how quickly I can actually hit. Like, I think that those two things are transactional. So if we're gonna be transactional, we're not really dating. We're just being transactional. So for me personally, I like to call it what it really is. Like, let's make a transaction. Like, you mean? But that also being said, I'm not the type of person to use my money to date, as we call it a date. So
What about you, Mac? What you think about that?
I mean, I agree with both of y'all. Like, I just think it's when you lead in with money, I don't think you're interested in me. You're just interested in my money. Like, I expect if I'm with my girl, she be like, "Yo, take me to a nice restaurant." All right, cool. You want to go to a nice restaurant? If I'm meeting a girl, she be like, I ask her out, and she be like, "Yeah, take me somewhere expensive." Oh, you don't really want me. You just want to take some pics for the gram. You want the lifestyle my money can give you. You don't want me. So what do I get out of this? I mean, I think most men, when it comes to a relationship, is just looking for love. They not looking for all the extra shit. It ain't no long list of, yo, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. Men looking for love and appreciation. They looking for somebody to look at them like he's him. And if you look at me like I'm the bank, then I'm not getting the only thing I really want.
All right, so I know this ain't the equivalent to that, but let's look at it from a different perspective, right? Your kids look at you like you the bank to some extent.
They have moments. Yeah,
Right, but
kids gonna have
but
moments where
but
they,
they yeah, good.
but like, so even with my kids, if they be like, hey dad, let me get $100. No, well, this ain't the old days. Dad, let me get $200 for these sneaks. I ain't got it right now, son. I got you next time. I bet. They don't love me no less. They ain't like, yo, you ain't my dad no more. Like, I'm cool off you, old head. It ain't none of that. That's my thing. Like, I ain't got a problem with a woman wanting money from her man. The thing is, if I don't got it, are you still here? If you not here, then why should I even spend it on you now?
Let,
Because life will hit you with a moment. I may be fucked up. I could be up today, and I could be fucked up a year from there. And now I'm like, well, you out? Soon as I hit rough times, you out?
let me
I don't
ask
want to
you
invest in that.
let me ask you a question, right? If you dating a woman and the one thing that attracted you to her the most, if she stopped doing that, would you still stick around?
I'm gonna be real with you. Based off what I'm looking for when I'm dating a woman, the only thing that I can think of if this happened, I'm out. And it may sound like a tricky, but the only thing I can think of is if you don't love me no more. Like when I'm looking for women, I need my woman to want me more than I want her. I need to know we got that. Like if I say I'm locked in, I'm locked in. So I need to know if I'm investing my life with you, you got to be locked in just as much as me. And the way I judge that is if I feel like, yeah, I honestly feel like she loved me more than I love her. Because it ain't no limit. It ain't no, yo, I'm out. Like this happened, so I'm out. I'm not thinking that way. Like, knock on wood, hypothetical accident, permanently scars, you don't even look the same. I don't look at that as I can leave my wife now since I'm not physically attracted to you. No, this is life has hit us, and now we have to bounce back. We have to help each other move forward to take care of this family, no matter what it is. So the only thing I'm beyond the only thing I ain't fighting for is if I'm with a woman that ain't fighting. Like if I feel like yo, you really tapped out on this relationship, I'll let you go. I don't even think there's no point because we gonna just wind up hating each other.
Let me ask you. I don't mean to interrupt you. I really don't. But let me ask you a question since you speaking on the topic of tapping out right in a relationship. If you love a person for certain qualities and certain things that they have, if they stop presenting them things to you, do you think that you should stay? Because that is the reason why you love them. Now, they stop doing it down the line. Now, whether it was to just get you or whether it's because that's who they truly was and they might be going through some mental and emotional things. But if they just consecutively just stop doing everything, do you feel like you have the right to end that relationship? And the reason I'm asking this question is because provision is one of the reasons why certain women date. I'm not mad at a woman for having all the qualifications. You can have all the qualifications that she's looking for, but we grown. If you don't have the financial stability, then why the fuck should she stay with you? Life is expensive.
I mean
Listen,
that's true.
it's hard. It's hard enough to struggle just paying your bills. It's hard enough. It's even harder to struggle when you're paying somebody else's too.
Well,
But
can I
Go
say
ahead, Al.
something?
Go ahead, Al.
So my thing about it, right, is think about it. Under that same premise, then why should she have the expectation that I'm the only person who can provide, right? Because like you said, life is expensive. Like I tried to say on a couple shows ago, for a man to be able to afford just a household with two people, he has to have two jobs on average. So my thing about that is why can't we be on some type of balance and you lessen my burden and I'm lessen your burden? Like that's to me the whole point of a relationship is to relate. You gotta relate with my struggle in order for you to support my struggle. So if you don't understand that it's difficult from the door, that's what I have an issue with that. Like I don't have an issue providing, but if you can't even understand why I don't want to work two jobs my entire life just so I can
yeah,
enjoy life with you, then then you really care about me, right? And it comes to situations like that. For me, it's like I don't have any problem with that, but you got to care about me outside of what I can provide for you, and that's where I think about that as an issue. So that's all I wanted to interject with.
and I want to add on to that, like, because I'm gonna answer your question, but what is the struggle? Because like we said, if we talking about stability, that means everything's taken care of. Now, if I go on a hard time, I ain't got it like I used to. Do that mean I ain't paying the bills? Do that mean we ain't going on 3 trips this year? That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, we can't go to Bermuda this year, but we still good. That I don't know. Like, it's tricky. I'm to your question. Everybody has a limit. I'm never saying stay past your limit, but my thing is sometimes I feel like people tap out too quick because people come into this idea of a relationship like it's supposed to be just pure happiness and joy for forever. No, it's hard times. It's gonna hit. That's life. Life come when it like that's just life. You're gonna get hard times. You gonna have to go through together. So that's what kind of throw me off because it's like y'all fucked up right now. Like the market was booming. I was thriving. We was doing great, and shit slowed up. Right now, I'm trying to keep the business afloat. And you talking about we ain't going on trips like we used to, like this. I'm not happy no more. I'm not happy the fuck either. Bitch, we working. Help me. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like, I
All
don't
right,
know.
let me let Chi know what's actually going on, Chi. So the question I posed to him was, should a woman be condemned for financially for wanting a man who's financially stable? Is that the equivalent to us wanting a woman who's submissive or peaceful? Have we been looking at that the thing that they want or the thing that they prioritize first the wrong way.
You want me? You want my take on it?
Yes, sir.
Um, should they be condemned for it? Not really. I mean, if that's what they want, I don't see why they should be condemned for it. Um, I mean, how can you if that's what if that's what they're looking for? I mean, I don't see why they should be. I don't see why they should be condemned for it. Um, should they help? Yeah, I think they should help, but condemn? Nah, I don't think they should be condemned for it.
All right, you came in at the right time. Do anybody got anything else to say about this topic? Because I'm ready to move on to our first one. Everybody good? All right. It's part of the it's part of the complications in dating in the U.S. of A. Because I can't speak on anywhere else in the world because I live in the U.S. It's part of the complications of dating in the U.S. today is because the dating market has been over sexualized. Maxon, what do you think about that?
I definitely think that's factual, at least in my perspective. I just think like this ain't the old days. Nobody's a virgin living at home with their parents, getting married off, and then is happy selling from there. People are outside, they dating. I think I know men, most I mean, I don't even know if I really believe the numbers would say most men don't have a lot of sexual partners, but most people are sexually active. They're on the dating sites. Is I just think from media perspective, just what I've seen, everybody's out here fucking. I'm gonna be straight with it. Everybody out here fucking, and I think that over sexualization mentally is ruining people going forward, getting into relationships. As me personally, that's just what I think. Uh, I know I was very active, and I had a hard time committing. Like I love women, I love sex. It was hard for me to just lock in on one woman. And I see a lot of the women nowadays and things they say on social media. 'Cause I ain't saying personally I know them. I just things they saying on. So I'm like, most men that I know, what you saying and what you representing is automatically eliminating you from him taking you serious. So I think there is a real big problem that we just don't look at as a society because we all enjoy sex. So we don't ever say, well, is this over sexualization the problem in our love lives? But I think it's something there.
Man, let me ask you a question, right? Before you got into a committed, a monogamous, happily ever after long term relationship, um, what were some of the things that you were saying that when you was dating that you looked at and said, "Hell no, I can't take that woman seriously"? What were some of the actions, some of the behaviors that just wasn't for you?
Uh, Try to find the right words. This is a lot of it, the way you represent yourself. Certain things women say, like I get it, we all grown, but it's like what I hear when I hear you say that, I'm looking at you a certain way. Certain ways they dress. I know that's big for me. It's like, it's your representation. The same way a woman wouldn't want a man to come dressed like a bum on the first date. She would look at him some type of way. Respectfully, I don't want to see you dressed like a whore. I'm gonna look at you a certain type of way.
Al, question for you, Al. I don't know if you remember it, but the question is, um, what is the question? It's part of the complications of dating right now in the U.S. because the dating market has been overly sexualized.
So I would like to start by saying I don't think that just the dating market is overly sexualized. I think that society as a whole is overly sexualized. and so the dating market that just happens to fall under like that. So I think that part of the problem is that everything, and honestly, for as long as I probably America's been around, is that black people specifically, our value has generally been dictated by our bodies, right? Not specifically just sex, but now it is hyper focused on sex. Like, whenever you see black people in general, it has to have some level of sexy or look based value because that's what sells out here, right? So then that's what people, young boys and young girls are being thought of as their value synonymously. Like it's like, okay, well, this is what makes me attractive. This is what makes me valuable. So I focus on these things, right? So then that's the only thing that they know how to judge by and they discern by. So you like, okay, well, if this is going to give me sex, I'm gonna do this. If this is going to make me be attractive in this way, I'm gonna do this. And that's how people. It influences how people move, right? So I think that honestly we undervalue ourselves, right? And we undervalue what we're looking for because to be honest, like I'm not gonna say all sex is the same. Obviously, we know that's not true. But at the same time, you can get sex from pretty much any person. And so it's not their only value. And I think that's where we like when it comes to dating, that's where we struggle because we put a high amount of focus into somebody's sexual value and not into the rest of who they are, right? But I saw this on TV a while ago, and I mean, not trying to be like that, but like, how much time do you really spend having sex, like, versus how much time you spend around this person? So for you to invest in the trait that you probably use less than all the other traits, like how somebody talks to you, how somebody treats you, like, what I'm saying. For me personally, I pay attention to how much time somebody spends getting outside, not getting, but needing outside validation. Like how much time they spend on social media looking for likes, how much time they spend doing things like if you're a content creator, that's different. That's what you're trying to do to get content. That's something different. But if you're just posting for likes, you're just doing thirst traps. If you're doing things like you need that validation, you need that attention. So me personally, as a person who has a career, a job, and goals, I would never be enough for a person like that. I know that because you're not going to have my undivided attention. Like I have my family; they don't get my undivided attention. Like, and it's not because I don't care. It's not because I don't love. But at the same time, like I have my dreams, I have my goals, I have my job. I can't let it all go to hell just because you don't have the value of yourself, right? And that's where that kind of starts. So I mean, I ain't want to get on the whole monologue, but yeah.
No, 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 that's cool. Al, I gotta ask you a question, right? With you being Caribbean and me loving Caribbean women, question for you, right? Do you think that uh the way a woman dresses or the way a woman might conduct herself in a party setting where you're supposed to enjoy yourself, do you think that holds some weight in a man's opinion of that woman? That whether he want to date her or whether he just want to sleep with her?
I think it can, but I also think it depends on the man. Like for me, not to say it doesn't matter what my shorty wears, because honestly, what I'm saying, like Max said, it is somewhat of representation. But at one point in time, if she's mine and I know she's mine, she can dress however she wants to dress. Like at one point in time, we know the truth. Like now, again, is she doing it because she wants to dress like that, or because she's seeking outside validation? Is where that becomes a thing. Like if you're doing it because it catches other guys' attentions, then that's where I have a problem with it. But if you're doing it because that's how you like to dress, then by all means, be you. Like now, what also needs to be understood is that that's going to lead to a consequence, and I think that's where people don't understand. It's like I could go outside and you can dress half naked, and I don't have a problem with you dressing half naked because ultimately I know where you coming back to. But we need to understand that that's going to lead to me having to check somebody. So if you don't want to see what happens on the other side of that, then you need to understand that going into that. That's the only thing I like to point out when it comes to stuff like that. But other than that, let this woman wear however she wants to wear it, bro. Like it is what it is.
T is some of the complications in dating in the US of A today is because the market has been over sexualized.
First of all, I want to apologize. Y'all been tardy. I was in the 10th game of zombies on Call of Duty. And to before I answer that, to piggyback off of what Al said, I feel like that's part of the problem too. Is like people. Like when women dress promiscuous or like y'all just said, and y'all get with them, y'all try to change them. But like that's who she was before you met her. And like I don't feel like if you didn't want her to be like that, then you shouldn't have got with her if she dressed like that. If that's something that you don't like. But I feel like yeah, no, I feel like yeah, always been sexualized. It's just more known now because of the internet. And I also feel like uh more reason is that and why the dating is down is because I feel like people going after people that they either can't get or some people that they want don't like them. I feel like that's a big part of it. Because I feel like like for instance, women want men that's 6'2" or 6'4" or anything like that, and statistically they're not going to get them because the average height in America is 5'9", and only 14% of American men are over 6 foot, and only 1% is over 6'2". So like I feel like
Excuse
they
me,
they
Al. Al, how tall are you, Al?
But we ain't
I
about to
don't
do
like
this shit.
this hype
We ain't about to do
propaganda.
this shit.
Y'all some
I'm not
hypers.
listening.
That's why
It's not.
he brought it back up on purpose.
No,
He know
no,
what he's
no, no, no,
talking
no, no.
about.
I did. No, I did because how many women have y'all heard, have y'all seen, or even during interviews, they want their men statistically 6 foot or over, and statistically they're not going to run into them because it's only 14% of American men, black, white, Asian, like all combined, is only 14% that are over that are 6 foot, and only 1% of that is 6 foot two or over. So and so even
Don't
with
make
that,
this quick, Lil Wayne, right here, bro. Because like you said, I'll be with God. I ain't gonna be that type of nigga,
listen,
but I'll be
listen,
explaining it
listen.
better. Like,
I, I didn't make the rules. I'm just if it's a lie, they told it, brother. That's all I'm saying. If it's a lie, they
As
told
a
it.
brother under 5'9", I wasn't struggling.
Listen,
I wasn't
Well,
struggling. I ain't
I'm
trying to hear
not.
all that height
well,
shit.
what is your height? What are you?
But first of all, that's a personal question. You don't ask no man shit.
Well, we
You
know
don't
it's
ask
under
no
five.
man no shit
Well,
like that.
everybody knows under 5'9". But and then I feel like a lot of men and women want certain things like. And it ain't just about height. Like men, like a lot of men, we want, fit girls, like fit women. And then like not to come at my black women, but statistically in America, they're the most obese race in America. So it's like we want like we want things that statistically we're not gonna have. And I don't know if that's going off of sexual, like if that's going to base going off of the sexual thing, but I feel like we want the looks instead of character. We too worried about the looks and not the character of a person. Like and I feel like that's where a lot of it go wrong too.
I want to add this in though, right? Um, like you said, a lot of because America is the most obese country. So, like you said, yeah, if men want more fit women, cool. But guess what? In this obese country, it's still over sexualized. People may struggle having long term relationships, but everybody fucking. And that's my point when I say it's over sexualized. It's almost like it's an escape from what you say you want because you just gonna listen. Almost every problem in America can in some way be connected to the over sexualization. If you
I mean,
really think about it.
Hmm?
but
What
you
do you
got
mean
hold
by
on,
that?
but hold on, but you gotta look at
I don't
my
think it's over sexualization. I think it's gluttony. I
my
think
my
it's over indulgence. It's
my
more so
thing
like
is
that.
we
Yeah,
ain't gonna run it we ain't gonna run into no people that's virgins. Like I feel like that's just what it is. Like everybody have partners. Everybody, especially at our age, everybody have more than one or two partners. Like if that's a problem for you, then I don't know what to tell you.
I've only been with one woman my entire life.
Like I
see,
said, I
my
don't know
thing
if that's a
is,
problem. If that's a
but
problem
my
with
thing
y'all.
is, it's not about is it a problem? It's about is this the would you, as a father, would you suggest to your kids maybe you should save yourself for a real relationship, or would you tell them go out here and get active?
I mean, the right thing to do is to say yourself a real relationship, but realistically, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Nobody's going to do that. I'm not
I
saying, well,
mean,
I can't say nobody's going to do that, but realistically, it's not going to happen. We take teenagers, we get them hormones, you want to experience stuff, so it's bound to happen.
yeah, but which one would you suggest?
I would suggest to
I
wait.
actually, yeah, all right,
I
cool.
would, I would suggest to wait.
So, do you feel like many parents are suggesting that, or more parents are just saying? yo, I was fucking, people fucking, my kid's gonna fuck. I want you to be safe with it.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think a lot of parents don't even talk about sex or things like that. So we go into it not knowing what comes with it, not knowing what to do, and that's why I feel like we have a lot of babies because we're not taught about sex or talked to about sex because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why we ain't talked about it. I feel like we should, but to answer your question, nah, because we're not. They don't talk about it enough. As well, in our community, I don't think they do.
So
See,
question for y'all. None of y'all parents talk to y'all about sex?
No, none
fuck
of my
no,
no.
My dad
fuck no.
did. I ain't
No.
listen. Cause he was
I'm
telling me not to
See,
do it.
I'm about
and
to say
that's
I
and
can
that
tell you I might not have listened. I can't tell you I didn't get to hear the
but
conversation.
even
Yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying.
y'all
Like, I
still
heard the
but y'all
conversation.
still prove my point. Even if you do tell your kids that y'all going to do what y'all going to do anyway. So it's like I said, it's regardless if we talk like regardless if it's talked about or not, we're going to do what we're going to do like want to do anyway.
All right,
Yeah, but that
so
don't mean you don't do it.
let me say something real quick. Let me say something real quick, right? When I'm gonna answer your question right now, Mac. When you say, would you tell your son? You said, did you ask about telling your son to have sex,
Well,
or your daughter
well,
too?
I said kids. So I would like, but I
All right,
know the answer when it comes to fathers and their daughters.
okay,
But
okay.
in general,
I'm gonna be real. What do they like to say? I can't even think of the fucking word right now. But you may not like the audience may not like this when I say this. I'm at a conundrum when it comes to telling my son to have sex and telling my son not to have sex. Because the one thing I understand, right, is if my son is dating a specific type of woman, if he's in, you know what I mean, then I know them type of women will clown you for being bad at having sex. Now I've never experienced it myself, even though my 2 minute minute warnings that I was running back in the day, but that's a story for another day. By the way, I meant what I said. I've only had one sexual partner, the ladies, so I'm saving myself for marriage. So if it's a good Christian girl out there waiting for me, or you could just be just a good all around woman out there waiting for me, I'm available.
Can I
Other
can
than
I
that,
can I say something about that? Not your part. I ain't worried about that. Uh, I feel like and as a parent now, even though I don't have no daughters, I feel like that's where a lot of parents go wrong because I mean, and I was and I felt like that. Like, yeah, I would be more lenient on my son with sex than with my daughter, and I feel like that's wrong. I feel like it should be both. Like and I get it, I'm a male, I understand that, but I'm talking about as far as raising kids, it should be equal for both. You don't want one doing it, the other one
let,
shouldn't have to do it.
let me say this, right? I agree that you should tell your kids to wait till a certain age. Hopefully is honestly when they do get married. The probability of that happening
It's
is
low,
very low.
very
Yeah,
low.
I get that, understand like that. The reason why I say that I would probably tell my daughter not to do it is because I feel like it's more consequences that you have to pay right then and there with your daughter going out and having sex. Because if your daughter get pregnant, more than likely if she lives in the house with you, that baby's going to stay in the house with you. And when a dad knocks a girl up, and I was having this conversation, I don't know who it was with. Was it with y'all? Was it with? It might have been with Champion Mode. And I said, well, some woman was talking about single moms and single dad. I said a lot of times the difference between dating a single mom and being a single dad is more than likely them kids live with that single mom. Them kids don't stay with that single dad. So it's not like you got running interference when you trying to date. Another thing is I feel like just to answer your question a little bit more, I feel like confidence in sex. Like the worst thing you could do when you go to fuck a girl is not know where the fuck the hole at. Like that could throw off the whole goddamn move. Like then not only that, by the time the man get ready to have sex, will he be willing to admit that he's a virgin? I don't know about y'all, but before y'all lost y'all virginity, was y'all telling women that y'all was virgins? And
no,
let's
I
just
was
be
lying
honest.
like shit.
You told him
I
you
was
had a
lying
lot
because
of
I was telling the
experience, right?
truth.
Go ahead, Al, you like you got something to say.
They ain't ask, I ain't tell. I'll keep it simple and honest.
Shit. I was telling
If they
bitches.
asked, I lied. I was lying till it became true.
So
My story has never changed.
I think it is hard, but let me comment on the over sexualizing in the market. I think we've come to a point in society that we just like to fuck. And I think that if you had more than 2 3 sexual partners, a lot of times we get horny. Like a lot of kids is created because motherfuckers was horny, not because of motherfuckers didn't plan that shit. So I think that you want to fuck, but you also want somebody who is consistent, who's reliable, who's dependable, and who wants the best for you. The thing about it is, I felt like we're going about it in the wrong concept. Go ahead.
So I wanted to stop you here because you were talking about like characteristics, and I actually had a question, right? So instead of focusing on talking to the child and being like, "Yo, you shouldn't have sex" or things like that, how about more focusing on teaching them the type of person they should date and look for, right? Like tell them about the qualities in a person they should be looking for and things like that, because if they do have sex, then at least they're more guided towards somebody of that nature. Like obviously we all know that a person's gonna do whatever they want to do, but if you're pushing that influence and also being that person that you preach that you want your child to go look for, right? Because you know, reinforcing it, that's also gonna help. Then even if they do take that step of sex, maybe they might find somebody who's looking out for them instead of just trying to get in their cheeks or however you want to think about it. Because we're talking about shorties at that point, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a better thing to aim for than try to be like, nah, don't have sex. Because, like we all said, like, when hormones get involved, you can't really control that. And not that you can control who they're dating, but you can have a greater influence on that than trying to keep them protected from the world, honestly.
So, so
And
let
I
me
was
ask you a question.
oh,
I'm gonna let you go. So let me ask you a question real quick. Cheating, you hop right in. Do you think that it's better to train your kids to get married at a younger age then, if that's the case?
I don't know if it's about training them to get married. I think it's about teaching them how to discern between people who care about you and people who don't. Like, I think that's the bigger thing. Once you learn discernment, then you gonna have to be able to be accountable for whoever you deal with. Like, it's okay if you deal with an ain't shit person, but at least you know the difference between an ain't shit person early. And I think that's the key because there's people who waste time. There's lots of people who waste time. Like I have friends who are time wasters, and I still love them. Like, but at the end of the day, we all know they know that what they really want from that woman is not her time, not to be with her. So at one point in time, teaching the child to understand that gives them the opportunity. Now, are they gonna always be responsible? No, because like you have to learn responsibility. But I think the discernment is the key there, personally.
T, what you have to say?
um to answer your question first, I feel like the problem with you, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but the problem with that, with the question that you asked is, we got to be honest. A lot of people, parents aren't married, so how can they preach it to their kids if they're not married either? I feel like that's probably why a lot of these kids don't want to grow up and be married because they don't know what marriage is because they coming from a single household. So I feel like if you want to practice that to your kids, you have to get married. And I get people make mistakes and things like that, but you can't practice marriage if you either never been married or you don't want to be married. Do I feel like marriage should come back? Yes, I do. Because I grew up in a two-parent household. I was also married before. So that's something that I would push to my kids, and that's something that I still believe in marriage. But again, that's because I grew up with both my parents are married. I mean, and still married to this day. So I grew up in that. So that's something that I wanted, did, and I want again. But for we have to start we have to start getting married and staying together if we want our kids to follow in our footsteps.
Speaking of marriage, I've been married. I've been married a lot. In my head, first time I seen Christina Milian, I got married to her mentally. Of course, everybody know how I feel about Selma Hayek. We not only was married mentally, but we had about 5, 6 kids. Lived in Barbados. Speaking of Barbados, I would love to vacation there. Um, Mac 10, I got anything else you got to say before we end this topic?
Uh, nah, we can leave it there. We can move on to the next topic.
Then let's get on to the next topic, but a little intermission right now. I want to tell you guys a quick story on how I found out that I was a superhero. So the year was about 1982. I've been in the United States for about 32 years around the time. Um, it was this band out around the time. I think their name was Earth, Wind and Fire. Me and this girl named Catherine had just left the concert. On our way, I was in San Bernardino, California at the time. So we were on our way back home, and I kept hearing something, some screaming noises in my head, and I I stopped on our walk home, like, hey, did you hear that? And she was like, hear what? I'm like paying no attention and everything. So we get to her house, and I'm hearing it again. And we get to the house, and we get ready to make sweet love and everything like that. So I heard it again, and it said, don't ignore me, don't ignore me. I need help. So I said, all right, I got to go. Like I told her, I said, I got to go, Catherine. I got to get out of here. But before I leave, let me plant one on you. So I kissed her, stuck my tongue so far down that woman's throat, I licked the side of her heart. Uh, when I came back for air, because I was there for a little minute, I heard a dripping sound, and I said, "It ain't raining outside." I'm thinking, damn, pipe leak. So I looked down, you know, what do I see? Well, if you're grown, then you understand exactly what took place that day. But anyway, I said I gotta go. I hopped out the window. You know what I mean? I don't know why I hopped out the window when there was a door right there. It just seemed like the right thing to do at the time. So I'm haul assing. I'm talking about like them niggas in Philly say I'm getting skinny now, the motherfucker, man. Um, and I noticed that I'm going extremely fast because 7 seconds ago I was in California. Now I see a sign that say "Welcome to Nebraska." Uh, and I looked at it, so I looked back. Something hit me in my chest. Boom! I said, "Shit!" I fell back a little bit, right? I'm saying to myself, it couldn't have been a tractor trailer because if it was a tractor trailer, then that would be the one that'd be on the ground right now. So it couldn't have been that. So I look up, it's this white man with long hair and a cape. So he comes up to me and says, "Oh, my fault, brother. I thought you were Loki." Who the fuck is Loki? Motherfucker,
Hold
who the
on.
fuck is you? So, motherfucking got a hammer on my chest, right? I'm talking about not a hammer that you use to scare people or the one that bang nails or the one that I be hitting niggas, baby mothers with. Happy Valentine's Day, baby girl. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it
Don't
was just
forget on
like
the
a
same
big
podcast
hammer.
you said one
Hold on.
sexual partner.
Hold on. I got a call. Hold on, y'all. Hello? Yeah, Gotham Asylum. Yeah, I think one of y'all inmates got loose. All right.
Anyway, anyway, I just thought y'all should know that. The moral of the story is Thor came to get the hammer. I grabbed it off my chest, threw it to him, went on about my motherfucking business. Now to go on about my motherfucking business, Al, I'm gonna start this question with you. Who's more selfish? A person who is not willing to change for their partner, or a person who wants their partner to change?
I would say it's almost like a 51-49, but I will say it's the person who wants their partner to change, right? And the reason I say that is because if you really love somebody, you are gonna love them for who they are. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that the person who's unwilling to compromise is definitely selfish, but you met that person as who they were. So for you to come into somebody's life and demand they be different, that's selfish. Now, like I said, it's 51-49 because that same person should have the ability, if you want somebody to stay in your life, you should be able to make compromises. Simple as that.
Al, you don't think that somebody could be wanting you to change, not for the betterment of them, but for the betterment of yourself and for the relationship? Do you think it's a good change? It's not always a change like I'm changing you because you just this ultra bad person. Maybe I'm changing. Maybe they could change you from how you view certain things in life.
Listen, you are 100% right. I don't think that the desire to have somebody change necessarily would be a bad thing, but the whole thing about it is, like you said, selfish. Like in reality, if I don't want to change, then you want to change me for yourself. It's not for me. Like that's the caveat there. Like we can want the best for somebody, but just because we think it's the best, don't mean it's the best for them in their head. So you gotta understand it like that. At least from my standpoint, like I really at first was on the other side. I'm like, man, you shouldn't refuse to change because ultimately, you know what I'm saying, you should be willing to compromise. But at the same time, it's like you should also be who you are. And should nobody be able to tell you that who you are is wrong, even if you're a narcissist, even if you're a dickhead. Listen, you could be the worst person on this planet, but if somebody meets you and tells you that they love you, they should love you for you. Period. Like they should. Now, loving you for your potential is different than loving you for you. Now, like I said, like that person should care enough if they want somebody to stay in their life. But if they don't, then that other person should accept them for who they are. Because that's who you say you love. Period. For real, for real.
T, same question to you. Who's more selfish? A person who's not willing to change for the partner they with, or a person who wants their partner to change?
Um, I think it depends on the change. Honestly, um, like if you want somebody to change like their attitude about how they talk to you, how they do things, and how they lash out if they're during like arguments or things like that, then and if they don't want to change that, then that's selfish, and it ain't no point of us, us being together, especially if that's affecting our relationship. Um, and I feel like what Al was saying, I agree to a certain extent what you were saying, Al, but then I also disagree because it's like, bro, if you're an asshole and I want to be with you and you don't want to change that, then I mean you can stay who you are, that is true. But I ain't about to be here with you. Why you being this person? But like back to the question, yeah, it depends. Like and that goes back to what I said earlier, Al, about how a woman dresses. If she dressed promiscuous and then you get with her and now you want her to change that, that's who she was before you met her. So it's like she's not selfish because she don't want to change it. You sh- you shouldn't have went after her and got with her because that's who she was from the beginning. So I feel like a lot of that could be eliminated if you go after some people that you want. But like I said, it just depends. Like somebody got bad eating habits and you like and it's messing their health up. They don't want to change that. That's selfish on them because you're trying to do something to benefit them. They don't want to change that. Or like smoking or things like that. So it honestly depends on the situation. So I can't give you a yes or no answer. It just depends to me.
Let me ask you all a question, right? Is there a difference between changing and growing, in your opinion?
No, because you need change to grow. You need change to grow. So I no, there's no to me it's no difference. It's like
I
if
mean,
I'm if go ahead.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think they different, but I definitely think because you could grow without changing.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can grow without changes
I
because
think it's the other way around.
if
You
you
can change without
change
growth.
without growth, yes, because if you like the hood, you you got to change that mindset. You can leave it, but if you still have that mindset, you're going to always resort back to that. Like you have to change your mindset in order to get out of that situation. So I feel like you nah man, you it's reverse like Al said.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
mean,
agree with that too, and that's what I was looking for because you can change and not grow, and when you change, you decrease the value of the person that you is. So all change ain't good change. So, but
not yet, but you can grow without changing.
but Mac, same question go to you. Who's more selfish? A person who's not willing to change for their partner, or a person who wants their partner to change?
I'm not gonna lie, I went back and forth with this one. It's so tough because I see selfishness in both. So when you're saying who's more selfish, I'm leaning towards the person not willing to change. For a lot of the same reasons Al said, it's like if you love this person, why aren't you willing to compromise? Like I look at it in the reverse. How you came up with that conclusion, I look at it in reverse because the other person wanting you to change, maybe wanting you to change for the right reasons. It could be for the wrong reasons. But that one person not willing to change, regardless of the situation, the only person you're thinking about is yourself. That is straight selfishness. I don't want to change, or I don't think I need that change, or whatever it may be. So I'm leaning that way. That's one. That one is so tough. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna say the person not willing to change my answer.
I want to go. I want to see if I heard you right. Did you say you can grow without change? You said you think you can grow without changing.
Yeah, it's both ways. Like I agree with everything y'all said, but you can also grow without change.
I don't think you can grow without change because if you have if you have a lazy mindset, you can't grow from that because you're still going to be lazy with that mindset until you change your mindset. Like I don't think you could grow without change. Like you can't grow into the person you want to be by staying
It it
and
depends
having
on
the
who you
same
want to be
mindset.
though.
But
Give us
even
an example if you got one,
like
Mac. I'd
even
rather
hold
hear an
on
example.
even like me. Well, not like me, but like you cannot grow into the person you want to become, but still think like the person that you are. Because that once you still have that mindset, you're going to stay in that realm. It's nothing's going to change. You have to change your mind to grow. Like like a big person. You can't want to be skinny but still eating and not exercising. Like you have to change. You have to change your ways to become the person you want to be.
I almost want to ask what you mean by growth because I'll give you an example. Uh, I didn't make much of a change from being a high schooler to being uh, a person with kids and a job. The changes came later, but that was still growth. I went from being a child to a man because my circumstances changed. I didn't change mentally. I still wanted to kick it with my niggas and fuck bitches. None of
So let
that
me.
changed.
So I'm not.
My
So let me.
circumstances changed, so I grew.
So let me ask you a question, and not to be. So do you feel like do you with that mindset that you had, are you where you want to be at life?
But that's what I'm saying. Like you jump into another part of it.
But
My
that's
mindset changed. Oh, my mindset changed at a point. What I'm saying is I grew before I changed. They don't run concurrent.
no. I feel like
They can happen at different periods.
okay.
Your
So I'm gonna say this.
situation
Hold on.
changed,
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm gonna say this. I'm
and
gonna say
then you
this.
grew.
Yeah,
That's what you just said. Your
I'm
situation changed,
I'm
and
gonna
then
say
you grew.
this. The mindset that
Yeah,
you saying that
I'm saying
the
I didn't change. The
but the
situation changed, then
but
I
the
grew.
But
And then
but
but
the
that
mind.
growth led me
your
to
your
change.
mind didn't change,
Hold on.
but you
Yeah,
had kids,
that's what I'm
and
saying. Now,
then
hold
you
on.
changed.
Hold on,
Like
because the mindset that he said that he had, like if you were still accessible to the people that you grew up with, you would still hang with them. That's not growth. You just can't because you're not around them. Your mindset didn't change. You're always going to revert back to that, and that's what's wrong with people. You don't grow until you change your mindset. Like how many people have you know? And I've known somebody personally that left the hood, but his mindset didn't change. He's going to gravitate back there because he didn't change his mind. I'm only doing using that because that's about like the best example I could get. Like you can't say, "Oh, I've grown for being a cheater," but your mindset didn't change about how and why you cheated. If you still had that mindset, you're going to revert back to doing the same thing that you do. You can't. You have to change before you can grow.
I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. I think we got different definitions of growth. I think growth is one thing, change is another thing. I think for this whole change in totality, you need both of them. But I don't, like I said, I grew before my mind changed.
Grow. Oh, to me,
I
growth.
needed both of them to change everything. Like you said, revert back, but that means I left at one point. You can't say, "Oh, you never changed." If you
But
say revert back, that means I changed at some point.
no, you didn't change. If you just moved, you just moved. Your mindset was still the same. Your mindset was still the same because you're going to revert back to that. Like you can't like that's like that's like you got an attitude problem and you just and you live in PA and you move to New York. But even in New York, you still got an attitude problem because your mindset didn't change. That's not growth.
But
You're still stuck in that same person.
all right, cool. Let me ask you a question. If I had an attitude problem in PA and I moved to New York, I got a better job, I got married, but I still got that attitude problem. You telling me I didn't grow in life because I
Yeah,
still got the attitude problem. I'm making more money. I got a wife, I got a family, but I didn't grow at all because my mentally I still got the same problem. That may have been a bigger problem to other people than to me.
what
but
you mean?
you may have grown. Like you can't, you might not have grown in totality. Like your attitude problem may not have grown completely, but at least your focus on that attitude may have changed. Like you grew in a way where you realized that, okay, I need to focus on something differently besides my attitude problem. Like
No,
that's what I'm
I'm
saying
saying
when I say
even
some of them things.
let
even
me
with the
hold on, Mac.
attitude, I'm
Go ahead,
making
go ahead.
more money. I'm just saying, even with the attitude, I changed, I grew financially, I grew with my family, I grew in life, but I didn't change mentally. That don't mean I did not grow. That's what I'm saying. We got a different definition of growth because it sounds like what y'all describing is a full out growth. Everything has changed. Everything ain't got to change for you to still grow.
Okay, so let me reel this conversation back in because we coming close to the finish line. I want to ask y'all some questions. I want to stay on topic, right? Real quick. Uh, now, Mac, I'm gonna start with you, right? In a relationship wise, right? If your girl tells you she does not like your friends and she wants you to change them, is that a red flag? Is that cause for concern? Are you thinking about leaving her, or are you willing to hear her out?
I mean, I'm willing to hear her reason. Like, I'm more intrigued by your reason. Like, what you mean? You know, like my friends. What? Like, let me know what you seen that was a problem to you. Cause I don't got many friends, so I'm be honest. Ain't no woman gonna tell me, yo, you need to cut them off, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, they gone. No. Now, if somebody violated past what I thought was possible, then yeah, explain that to me so I can know what's going on.
Now, let me ask you a question too. On the flip side, if you say that to your woman, do you expect her to listen?
No, I mean it depends on like if I got a real reason of why like yo, this why you don't need to hang with her, then I expect her to take that in. Like I still need an explanation. I need to get an explanation. But I'm not, yo, I don't like Tabitha. Cut her off. No, like why would she listen?
But ain't that's part of like growth though? If you got friends that's not on the same level as you and you grow out like you changing mentality, that's part of growth, ain't it?
Nah, but if your girl asks you to do
Yeah,
them, that's a
it
different
is
thing.
different.
So I'm at,
My girl may not want me to be friends with Space because oh he's single. So I don't want you hanging with him because he gonna have you out here. He ain't gonna have me doing nothing. If I'm doing something, it's because I made a conscious decision to do something. You can't blame him. I'm not about to cut him off because you don't trust me.
I don't know why your girl or anybody girl will ever fucking say that about space, but
I
that's
can think of
another
a
day.
few reasons.
I'm just using you as an example, brother.
Chi,
I'm just
let
using you as
me,
an example.
let me, it's a hell of an example you had to use, motherfucker. Chi, same question go to you. If your girl asks you to cut off a certain group of friends, are you willing to hear her out?
Yeah, it depends on like basically same thing about it. It depends on like the friends that you're talking about. Like if it's some friends that ain't motivated, like that ain't doing shit, but I'm just keeping them around because I'm cool with them, and she like they're not helping you grow and anything like that. I don't have no problem hearing her out. It it just depends. Honestly, that's my answer.
How about on the flip side? If you see your girl got friends that may be doing something that you don't find beneficial to her or to your relationship, do you expect her to listen?
Yeah, because I would listen. So I would expect her to not if you mean listen like do that right away. No, I would expect her to hear me out the same way I would hear her out.
Al, question go to you. Your girl wanted you to cut off some of your friends. Would you hear her out?
So I would like to think I would hear her out, but I'm gonna say it like this: I don't have friends. I have brothers. So by the time they make it past my defense, because I don't trust a lot of people, 9 out of 10 they lifers in my family. Like they my family. So I would hear her out because at one point in time I would like to know what her problem is and see if I could fix the problem. But in reality, I probably wouldn't cut off my friends.
Flip side of it, if you told her that you would like her to cut off some of her friends, do you expect her to do it?
It depends on the friend. Like I would say I would try to make her cognizant of what my issue is because for the most part, I don't really care who her friends are. Unless I really feel like they're endangering her life, endangering her safety, or endangering our relationship. If one of those three things are the problem, then I'm gonna probably have an issue, and to the point where, at worst case scenario, we don't belong together. Like, because it's not even about the friends at that point. Like, if I can't make sure we're safe, if I can make sure you're safe, and I can't make sure our relationship is safe, then what are we really doing here? That's how I come down to it.
I'm gonna answer my own question. If my girl asks me to cut off some of my friends, I don't really think I should have to do it unless, like, I don't know which. If Max said that they violated or something behind my back, and I don't know anything about that, because I feel like I'm a good judge of character, and like Al also said too, at a certain point, you're not just a friend anymore; you're a brother to me. So if I feel like, and I don't just make anybody a brother. If I feel like if you fell into that category, you met the criteria and everything like that, then we locked in. On her behalf, I don't think I should ever have to tell her to cut off any friends because part of the reason why I get with you is because I know your friends. I know the type of influence that you have around you. And if I don't like the type of influence you got around you, then I don't need to be with you anyway. Because I would never tell nobody to change who they are to fit my certain type of lifestyle that I have in my mind. If I like you for who you are, then we're gonna rock and we're gonna roll like that. Is a couple things that you can improve on, of course. It's a couple things that we all can improve on, like me. I'm damn near perfect besides one thing, I can't fucking swim. If I can learn how to swim, then I would be, just the best thing on God's green earth. You know? Uh
Superhero lives in the water. It's crazy.
This nigga say I'm damn near perfect, but I can't swim. The fuck, you ate a devil fruit, nigga?
uh,
Yo, this nigga
me,
crazy.
me, me. So it's a long story about when I was younger. Me and a shark got into it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. The great thing about a storyteller is you always leave the viewers looking for more. With that, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to the You Want to Be Real podcast. I hope
Nah,
you
nah,
have a
keep doing it.
blessed, safe, great evening. All that good morning. I hope you had a great Valentine's. I hope you got some Mushu. Hope you getting some Mushu tonight. And if you're a lady out there and you happen to be single, you happen to have double D's or bigger, I'm give you my personal Instagram. Um, but as of right now, I'm gonna let everybody go. That's Chi. That's Mac. That's Al. I'm Space Motherfucking City, aka the world's first black superhero.
I don't
Enjoy
know how long I
yourself.
can keep doing this, y'all.